gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Spread their racks on new chain. My love do. Ooh, I forgot name.
What's up? First of all, ignore my head. Don't even look at my head. My head is not there right now. Y'all don't see it, okay? Y'all don't see this scarf. Y'all don't see my head. Moving on. I am going to do a story time about when I went to jail. Yeah. So, I met... This was actually like one of my first for real boyfriends. I met him when I was 18. And his name is Trevor. And we met at school. I want to say it was my sophomore going into my junior year, because I graduated late. I don't freaking remember. But we met in 2013. And we he was trying to talk to me for a minute, but I was like curving the hell out of him. Like, no, I didn't want to talk to him. And finally one day he inboxed me and I responded back. And then the rest was history. So we was like, literally, we was together every day, like all day, all the time. I was sneaking to his house, like staying the night. His mama didn't even know I was there. Like, it was funny. I was hiding up under the bed. Like, she would come in the room and I would like be up under the bed for a minute. Like, bro, it was funny as hell. And eventually he ended up telling his mom, and, you know, she ended up, you know, letting me come over for a couple hours out the day and stuff. But we was still like sneaking and doing stuff. Like, I snuck him. He stayed the night at my house a couple times. I snuck him over there. Like, we was bad. We was bad as hell. So basically, we was 18. We was both 18. Our birthdays was like literally 2 weeks apart. And we ended up both getting a job at Cedar Point. Matter of fact, the day he went for his interview at Cedar Point, I was at his house like hiding. His mama didn't know. I was there all day, bro. Like, I was literally there all day. And he came back and was like, I got the job. And then I ended up applying. And then I got a call back for the interview. I ended up getting the job too. We was both supposed to leave on May 1st. Like the summer of 2013. We was supposed to leave and go work at Cedar Point. Well, that didn't happen. Let me tell y'all what really happened. Let me tell y'all what really ended up happening. So, we both got hired for Cedar Point in February. No, it was the end of January, beginning of February of 2013. And basically, Trevor was a bad boy. Like, he was bad. Like, he was always in trouble. He was in and out of jail. Like, he was always in trouble. And I was with him all the time. So, of course, I was with his friends. And his friends wasn't no damn better than he was, for real. They was freaking, yeah. I ain't even gonna talk about them. But basically, one day, we all decided that we wanted to smoke. This was when I had, like, just started to smoke weed. Like, I didn't really start smoking weed until I got with Trevor. And we decided we wanted to smoke one day. So, we was all in the car, like, we was facing, like, back and forth in the car. Like, it was, yeah, we was gone in that boy. And we seen some lights. The lights was like flashing, like the lights flashed at us, and we wasn't thinking nothing of it at first. And then a big truck pulled up. The truck pulled up, and when it pulled up, it was a cop. And Trevor was like, oh shit, I gotta jump out the car, I'm about to run, I got a warrant. I'm like, what? He like, I got a warrant. Mind you, at the time we had only been dating, like, we started dating in December, and this happened in February. The beginning of February. So we had only been together like 2 months. And I'm like, what you mean you got a warrant? Like, what you mean? Like, what the hell? So the cop came to the car. Man, when he opened the doors, bro, when I tell you it was just smoke, like, oh my God. It looked like King Kong in a movie. Like, it was just, like, the smoke just cleared the entire car. It was crazy. And the cop was like, I need everybody to step out the car. Mind you, I hadn't hit the blunt. I never hit it. Like, I never did. I never got a chance to. I was high because I was in the car with them, but I had never hit the blunt. Like, I never physically had it. So the cop came to the car. He's pulling everybody out the car. He like, turn around, hands behind your back, da da da, all that good shit. and he got to me. Mind you, it's fucking February. It's cold as shit. It's fucking cold. I had no coat on because my coat was in the house because we was in a heated car. So I had no coat on and some fucking flip-flops. And the cop talking about he can't search me because he's a male and I'm a female. So I had to wait for a whole female cop to get there to search me. She took 45 minutes. I'm outside, handcuffed, sitting on the curb for 45 minutes with no coat, no fucking shoes. I'm like, officer, I wasn't smoking. Like, I didn't smoke. He like, well, you smell like marijuana, so I have to take you in too. I'm like, bro. So they got all of us. It was me and like 3 of his friends. They got all of us outside. All 5 of us sitting on the curb. I'm like, bro. So the cop pulled up. We all got taken to the station. They put me in a separate car than the boys. The boys rode in the same car. I rode in a separate car. But Trevor texted me. I'm trying to figure out how he texted me with his hands behind his back. But this nigga was straight like, he was straight like texting me or something. So he texted me. He was like, babe, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I can't believe I just dragged you into this. And all this other stuff. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell just happened? So we get there. And we get to the station. And when we get to the station, they put us all in separate, like, separate vehicles and took us there. And then when we got there, they put us all in, like, separate cells. So I was in the cell by myself. And then his friends was in a cell somewhere else. And then I never saw Trevor. I didn't know where Trevor had got sent to. So they ended up, Trevor had a warrant. So he ended up getting arrested. I didn't know at the time, though. So I'm like sitting in the car and I'm like, or not the car, I'm sitting in the cell and I'm like, where's Trevor? Where's Trevor? And Neil, one of his friends, Neil, is like, you know, I think they took him. So I'm sitting here like, damn, he about to go to jail for real. So we was in that cell for about 6 hours, 7 hours. They did mugshot, fingerprint, all that good shit. They took my glasses from me. They really took my glasses. I could not see. I had the worst headache. And they ended up letting us go. They let us go, and I get outside and realize that Trevor is not outside. I'm like, where's Trevor? And that's when I found out, like, they kept him, like, he had got arrested. I'm like, oh my God, all right. So I'm sitting here, like, worrying, like, how we gonna get him out? What are we gonna do? Da-da-da. So we ended up getting an attorney. You know, they sent us a court date and all this other stuff. We got an attorney, and our lawyer was bomb. Like, she was on point. So we got to the first court date, and they just discussed what happened, and she told us, you know, what she wanted us to do and what she wanted us to say when we got up there, and, you know, all that stuff. I still hadn't seen Trevor yet. So Trevor ended up getting out. I don't know how. I don't know if he got out on bond or... Oh, yeah, that's what happened. Me and his friends had ended up getting a bail's bondsman and got him out on a $1,000 bond, and it was 10%. So we had to pay $100 to get him out. So we got him out right in time for court. Now, I'm going to just fast forward to, like, you know, when everything happened at court. So we get there, and, you know, Trevor there, me and Q and Neil and everybody else is there, the whole crew there. And we talking to our attorney, and she's like, you know, we just going to try to get it as a, like, it was a disturbing of peace. You was sitting in the car blasting loud music, and one of the neighbors called the cops. And we was like, okay. She was like, don't even bring up weed. If they ask you about weed, don't bring it up. I was like, okay. So we sitting there, and they called us all to the stand or whatever. Neil got up there. They gave him probation. I got up there. They gave me 3 months probation. They was like, you know, you got 3 months probation. You can't leave the state. You can't go out of the country, you can't leave the state, and you have to, you know, stay within a certain distance. I was like, mind you, I told y'all I had got the job at Cedar Point, and I was supposed to leave in 3 months. I'm like, so I looked at my attorney like, what about Cedar Point? She was like, I'm gonna ask. So she asked the judge, you know, like, she's never been in trouble with the law before. This is her first offense, you know, she's a good student, she has straight A's, she actually just got a job at Cedar Point. And she was supposed to leave in May. Can she still go? And the judge granted me permission to go out of state. And she told me I just had to check in weekly through the telephone to my probation officer. So I was able to go. Trevor, he got probation too. We all got 3 months probation. And as we got ready to leave the courtroom, the judge said, Mr. Moore. Huh. And he stood up like, yeah. She was like, I have a warrant right here for you. Come back to the podium. And I'm looking like, what did you do now? So he got up there and she was like, armed robbery. I'm like, what? Man, long story short, he had got charged with armed robbery from a couple weeks back, and I didn't know because I was, you know, obviously at home, and he was whatever he was doing with his friends. So he ended up going to jail. And I just remember, like, when we was leaving the courtroom, he just, like, looked at me and was like, I'm sorry, I love you. And I was like, fuck, like, this nigga always in trouble, bro. And it was at that point I knew I needed to fucking get the fuck on. So he ended up going to jail. I tried to date him, like, on and on. Like, this happened. He went to jail March 20th of 2013. I went to Cedar Point. You know, I continued on with Cedar Point. I stayed at Cedar Point from May 1st until October 1st. And I worked there. I was still going and visiting Trevor, like, on and off up until June. I went and seen him a couple times at Wayne County Jail, but it was just, like, to the point where I got sick of doing it. Like, I'm sick of doing this. Like, this is not fair. I'm only 18. I should be out here living life. And I broke up with him. And, yeah, when I broke up with him, he was not happy, like, at all. Because I went from visiting him every week, like, every weekend, to just, like, not going to seeing him at all. And I wasn't, like, I stopped writing. I felt bad for doing it after, like, but I'm like, I gotta think about my life. I'm only 18. I don't need to be dating somebody that's in prison. Like, he's in prison now. They ended up charging him and gave him 5 years. He actually gets out this coming March. But I'm like, I'm not about to put my life on hold for you. I mean, I love you. I care about you, but I'm not putting my life on hold for no nigga. Like, I don't care. Nah, I'm not about to do it. I got too much to live for. So, you know, I had went and seen him and a couple times, and I just kind of stopped going. But the last time I went and visited him, I remember this day like it was yesterday, bro. I feel so bad for doing it now, but I was like, at the time I was pissed. And before we really broke up for real, I found out that he was talking to one of his ex-girlfriends. Before he went to jail, he had bought me a promise ring. And, you know, it was basically a promise like, you know, we gonna be together forever. You know how young teenagers be acting and stuff. So he like, we're gonna be together forever, and he gave me this promise ring on Christmas. And he basically gave me that when I went to see him. And, you know, I asked him about his ex. Like I found out y'all still talking. I mean, yeah, I was stupid. Like, I admit now, like, I was stupid for doing it, and I was wrong because at the time, he was in jail. Like, he couldn't cheat on me. Like, he was in jail. Who the fuck could he possibly be fucking? Like, and Trevor not like that. So I'm like, no, like, now I think back at it, I'll be like, dog, I was so stupid and petty. But I was mad. My feelings was hurt. So I'm like, I done stood by your side, like, this whole journey. Like, you've been in and out of jail. I've been by your side. I've been supporting you. I've been holding you down. I've been giving you money on your books, calling, coming and visiting, sending food. Like, I was doing everything. Like, I quit my job for this dude. I got put out my mama's house for this dude. Like, I was living with him and his dad. And it was like, it was a lot. Like, I dropped out of school for him, bro. Like, my freaking junior year, I dropped out. Like, literally. I had straight A's and I dropped out of school 3 weeks before graduation. And it was like, yeah, like, I was almost done. Like, now I be thinking about it, like, I was so stupid. But me dropping out put me even more behind, because then I had to take my classes again. I had to redo everything. And I was just like, you know, I went to visit him and I asked him, like, you know, you dating, like, I heard you was talking to your ex. And he basically laughed in my face about it and told me I was stupid and I was petty. And I took the promise ring off and I threw it. Mind you, when I was going to see him at Wayne County Jail, it was like a glass. Like, you was standing up the whole time, and there was a whole bunch of people in the room with you. Like, it was like a line of people down there with you, but everybody was spaced out. And Trevor was in front of me behind the glass. And I was talking to him, and he just kept laughing like it was funny and telling me I was stupid and I was over-exaggerating. So I took the ring off and I threw it. And when I threw it, I walked away. Like, I just left. And I remember when I threw it, like, I looked at his face before I walked away, and it was just like, he was so hurt. Like, his face was just like, did you just throw the ring? Like, he was shocked. And I walked off, and I didn't call him, I didn't text him, I didn't answer his phones, I didn't write him, like, I didn't visit, nothing, for like 4 or 5 months. And we finally, like, started talking again. And, you know, he was like, you know, you really hurt my feelings when you threw the ring. I was like, you really hurt my feelings when you intentionally laughed in my face like I was stupid. Like, that was wrong. So me and him ended up deciding that we just wasn't best, like it was just best for us to not be together. Me and him are cool now. Like we talk now. We good people. Like we good friends now. But at the time, I'm like, we was only 18. We both almost 24 now. So a lot has changed. Like a lot. We was kids then. We both grown as hell now. But you know, I learned a lot. Like just from that relationship in general, I learned a lot. Like, yeah. Like, I really did learn a lot. I put so much of my life on hold for him. Like, it was crazy. Like, literally, we used to be walking, like, just so I could go see him. I used to get dropped off at Southland Mall, and then we would walk on the railroad tracks. We would walk down the railroad tracks for 4 miles just to get to his house. It was a 3-hour walk. We used to walk for 4 hours in the snow, in the cold, in the rain. Like, it was crazy, just so that I could spend time with him. So when he laughed in my face like that, like, it pissed me off, because I'm like, really, like, I done did so much for you. But, you know, that was an old chapter in my life. I'm over that now. That happened when I was 18. I'm 24 almost, so that was a long time ago. But, yeah, I got off probation. I got put on probation in March. April, May, June. I got off probation June 30th of 2013. I swear I was so geeked when I got off. I got that letter in the mail like, you were off probation. I was like, yes, thank you, Lord. So I will never, ever, 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 ever get in trouble again. Like, ever. And I was so happy that they expunged it off my record. Like, they told me if I completed my probation and didn't get in trouble, then they would take it off my record. So my record is still clean, which is awesome. But yeah, I had to tell y'all that story because everybody kept asking, like, have you ever been to jail? And I was just like, yeah, but I never told y'all why. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, yeah, that's really, like, it was, I went to jail, but it wasn't for, like, nothing, like, major. Like, I ain't kill nobody or nothing. I just smoked a little bit of weed. And I didn't even smoke it. I just inhaled it through the car. Yeah. So, if you like this video, then you should subscribe to my channel. Because, I mean, you ain't got nothing else to do anyway. You know, you just sit around all day and just don't do nothing with your life. So, why not subscribe? You know, I post funny shit. I'm funny. You might be funny too. We never know until we try. So, subscribe.